The July jobs report came in cooler than expected. 187,000 jobs added versus the estimated 200,000. Unemployment ticked down slightly to 3.5%. What does this tell us about the inflation fight and the odds of recession? Joining me now is Wharton Finance Professor Emeritus Jeremy Siegel. Professor Siegel, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Happy to be here, Jack.
So last time we had you on, you were critical of Fed Chairman Jay Powell. Recently, though, it seems as if inflation is slowing without the economy crashing. Friday's jobs number, not too hot, not too cold. Does Jay get a better grade from the professor?
Yeah, he does get a better grade. I mean, I still give him a terrible grade for the inflation and being so late on that. We wouldn't be in the pickle we're in. But I will admit, I thought that his rapid rise in rates would slow down the economy much faster than we've seen. There's an amazing resilience. The GDP is above every single forecaster of last December on what they expected for 2023.
So where are we exactly, do you think, in the fight against inflation?
I think the fight of inflation is going extremely well. We're still going to have pass-through on, certain service items, slow-to-move items. There will be some more wage increases. A lot of that is catch-up. And, I've been critical of Powell trying to squeeze down the wage earner who has not kept up with inflation. He and she needs to at least get up to the inflation rate. So I don't believe that any further hikes are necessary. But the hikes that have been put in place so far have not really squeezed the economy. We see a slowdown. Friday's employment report, as you just said, is a slowdown. In particular, by the way, the hours worked went down also, the lowest since the pandemic. So we are in a slowdown, but not a crash. I see a lot of resilience, and my call for recession probability has definitely gone down over the last 2 months.
So where is that call right now?
I would say it's 2-to-1 against a recession. At least the rest of 2023 and early 2024. Now, anything could happen in the world that could upset that. What I hope is that Powell, in his last news conference, was much more two-sided, saying, I see the risks on the downside as well as upside. If we see the economy slipping, we see initial jobless claims go up or any other sign of a slowdown in the consumer, not only does Powell have to stop raising rates, he will have to start thinking about lowering rates, even though there is a bit more inflation in the system.
And there's certainly lags, and we've got new forces coming with the student loan forgiveness ending and so forth. Let's talk about this Fitch downgrade. You and others have been critical of it and its timing and so forth. There was one point in there, though, that's tough to argue with. It does not seem that the House and the Senate are functional enough to really take on this problem of a huge deficit of national debt, because it's going to require really difficult decisions, which, frankly, our government doesn't seem capable of making. What are your thoughts on, from an economics perspective, as an economics professor, about the debt and the deficit?
Well, Jack, I would include the executive branch along with the House and the Senate.
Good point.
Honestly, it seems like no branch in the government is taking cognizance of the deficit, of the building deficit. We know that far out, Social Security and Medicare are insolvent. They cannot go on as they've gone on. Now, I have argued that I don't see any immediate crisis within the next few years. It really will develop later. There seems to be no willingness to do that. And by the way, that is one thing that will bias inflation upward, because the more debt you have, the higher the interest rates that you're going to have, and this is something that will eventually, I think, feed into inflation going forward. So, yeah, tackling the deficit is one factor in controlling the inflation.
Sadly, it'll probably take that kind of a crisis to get the executive branch and the two other branches to actually do something about it. All right, Professor Siegel, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll see you soon, I hope.
I hope so. Thank you, Jack.